Welcome to Conversations with Mr. A. This is your host, Anthony Abastilla, school counselor here at Chimacum Junior and Senior High. I'll be interviewing students, staff, community members, outside community members, hoping to provide them a voice to share their perspectives and insights. Hello and welcome to another episode of Conversations with Mr. A. So this week it is my pleasure to have Mr. Tony Haddenham with us. He is our PE teacher, as well as football coach, as well as teacher for a variety of things. Thank you, Mr. Haddenham, for being here.
No problem. My pleasure.
Pleasure to have you. So, Mr. Haddenham, can you tell me a little bit about your background, the schooling you went through to become a teacher?
Sure. I am a first-generation college graduate. I went to Central Washington University and graduated with a K-12 PE teaching endorsement. And about 12 years ago, I went back to school and did the West E test to be certified to teach social studies, so I can teach history at any level, like world history, U.S. history, civics, stuff like that. So I also teach health. I'm also certified to teach health as well, and I've been here at Chimacum since 2001.
Wow, what inspired you to become a teacher?
I had great teachers all through my schooling. And I remember my kindergarten teacher, Mrs. Bradford. This was in Idaho Falls, Idaho, when I was a kid, back in the 1900s. Kids don't realize that I was born in the 1900s. Mrs. Bradford was my kindergarten teacher, and she was phenomenal. I do remember being taller than she was as a kindergartner. She was pretty short, or I was pretty tall as a kindergartner. I don't know which, but. She loved teaching. She loved every aspect of it, being able to see kids grow and learn new things. And as a kindergartner, you're so persuaded by different things, and influenced by small things. And so she would use our interests to drive her teaching, which is kind of cool. And then moving through junior high, I had great teachers there. My seventh grade geography teacher, Mrs. Roberry, at South Bonneville Junior High School in Idaho Falls. She was phenomenal. Same characteristics as Mrs. Bradford. She's very passionate about teaching, very outgoing when it comes to her subject area. And then moving from there up here when I was a freshman in high school to Stanwood High School, just having a variety of teachers that were masters of their subject area. Mrs. Taylor was my English teacher as a sophomore, and then my psychology and CWP teacher as a senior. And her passion just kind of rubbed off on me. She was very passionate. I knew I wanted to teach because I wanted to coach. I had great coaches too, and so I figured that why not do two things that I love. And so being a first generation college graduate, that's a pretty special thing. Do what I want to do. I've done lots of things in my life, lots of different jobs. The job that I would have done had I not been a teacher would have been, working in the woods. I was in the woods at a young age, working with my uncle, who had his own tree business. So it was, we're always doing that stuff. But it's physically demanding, and I would either be out of work due to injury or whatever. Don't want to think about that. But I've been here since 2001, so this is my 23rd year of education. And I've seen a lot of kids come and go. My own daughter graduated from here, Chimacum, in 2019. My oldest boy will graduate this year, 2023, and my wife and I have set roots here. We've been here the longest at any place we ever lived. Whether we were growing up or as a married couple. So we've been here for a long time. So
you've been here since 2001. In your mind, what were some of the highlights? Some of the biggest highlights you had being here up to this point, and some of the challenges.
Well, I'll go with the latter first. The challenges is ever since COVID, that was a huge challenge for all of us, teachers included. Teaching remotely, from home. When I, as a father as well, but had to make sure my own boys were doing their work along with prepping and teaching my own classes. And so that was a huge challenge, going from in person where you can see kids doing their work to, from a computer screen and a camera. Mm-hmm. You really can't see what they're doing. Half the time the kids were either, the cameras were off or whatever. The biggest highlight is actually seeing, kids from all walks of life graduate. First generation high school graduates, which is kind of cool. And then those students go on to college and become the first generation, college graduates, like myself. And that's academically. Athletically, being able to be part of the 2007 state championship baseball team, and watching kids grow athletically and be able to pursue their athletic goals after high school. Kids move on to college and then semi-professional baseball and basketball here. So lots of things, changes in the area too, with kids moving out, kids moving in.
How was the area like back in 2001 compared to now?
So when I first got hired here, in 2001, our district was about 1,200 students. Our student body was just over here at that school, just 9 through 12 was probably, I don't know, 600 maybe. So but you only count 9 through 11 for classification stuff for athletics. But so we had 100 plus kids in every class. A lot of them were, parents worked at the mill or worked in the dairy industry here in the county when they had dairy farms running pretty well. A lot of forestry parents, and then parents who commuted to Boeing or down to Bangor or down to the shipyard. So it's changed quite a bit. With the other thing, you have ups and downs, and we've dropped in enrollment, so we've shrunk in size. Counties kind of steady in terms of size wise, but the amount of people who move into the county, it's pretty low in terms of who's bringing in students to school.
One thing I noted, I started here last August, and even though it's a smaller community and a smaller school, at least my first impressions of the students, they have a lot of heart. There's something that just grabs me about the students. They're just with their heart, and they made me feel really welcome right away.
That's how it's always been here. There are those kids that don't care about anybody or anything, and so they're kind of standoffish. But the majority of the kids, that they're welcoming, they're inviting, they've got a positive attitude. We all have our ups and downs, but for the most part, most kids are going to be that way. And again, a handful of kids who really could care less about anything related to school. And that's how it's been here since I've been here. And mind you, I've only been in one school district since I graduated college, which is here. I don't expect to go anywhere else. I love it here because of that type of mentality, the whole welcoming and inviting and being part of the community and the culture here.
The staff is thank you. You made me feel welcome. The staff has made me feel very welcome here. You've probably seen a lot of changes with the staff over the last 20 years come and go.
Which is, I now feel older. We had one of the longtime teachers retire last year, Mr. Porter. He taught math here forever, and it was a coach here and an athletic director. But as in terms of a teacher, I'm like one of the better teachers now. There's only Miss Schmidt and myself who I kind of go back to the original staff from when I was hired in 2001. She and I are the only ones still here from when I was hired. There's been turnaround in the math department, in the history department, English department. I'm the only PE teacher that's been here since I've been here. It's weird, kind of eerie in a sense that I'm one of the old people now. The older staff members. I've had 6 superintendents. I've had 6 principals in the years I've been here. Each one has their strengths and weaknesses. I've gotten along with all of them. I'm pretty easygoing, pretty easy to kind of get along with. Yeah. But it's just been one of those things where the longer you work at a job in the same place, you have turnaround, and turnover.
Yeah. I could only imagine the ups and downs with all 6 there. I can only imagine there had to be a lot of ups and downs and twists and turns.
There was, because students need that familiar face, the consistency, the continuity of admin or principals or whoever you want to, however you want to, state it. Mm-hmm. But they need that, they need routines on a regular basis, and some of the students who need that kind of struggled over the last couple of years because they've had 4 principals in the last 4 years. It's kind of crazy. So
it is crazy. Well, what's motivated you to keep going?
Me?
Yeah, I've been here 2 decades. What's motivated you to say, I'm going to stay here and keep being here with the kids?
It's my passion to see kids succeed. Whether it's academically or athletically, just seeing them grow. Coming in as a 14-year-old freshman and leaving as a 17 or 18-year-old senior. In a span of 3 or 4 years. They grow substantially. They grow, tremendously, and just a matter of being able to help those kids out in any way I can, whether it's academically or athletically or kind of being a counselor when needed, someone to talk to or whatever. My passion for teaching is what keeps me going. There's been times where I'd want to throw the towel in, but it's like, okay, I can't do that to the kids. I can't do that to my family, and uproot them. I thought about moving districts, years ago. But I'm thankful that I didn't. I'm thankful that I stuck with it, and because my family's been blessed, by that. And as I said, my daughters graduated from here. My son will. Hopefully, my youngest son will. Because he'll be a 7th grader next year. It's just a matter of kind of just being here for the kids. And that that's what I want to do is be for the kids as long as I can.
Awesome. What would you tell so for newcomers, this year there's been a new batch of people. It's myself, there's been Jerome, there's Mr. Stevens, Ms. Corbett. What would you tell, and new students, what would you tell newcomers as far as staff and students, people that are brand new to the Chimacum community? I know for myself, I live in Kitsap. So, I mean, I feel like the new kid in the block still.
Sure. So what I tell is, our community, for the most part, here in Chimacum and East Jefferson County, we're pretty easygoing. Kind of laid back. There are other people who are high strung. That's who they are. More times than not, most people are welcoming and inviting, even though there are outsiders or strangers, if you will. But I think for the most part, the culture here is one of being welcoming and inviting, and I think that stems from what East Jefferson County is all about. It's about tourism. It's about people coming here to visit in the winter and the spring and the summer, and part of the fall. All seasons we have tourists coming through here. And so I think, we kind of have to be, because, I'm not from here, we have to be, that way. We can't be, standoffish and be closed-minded and closed to new people coming in. So
I'm very grateful. No, thank you guys for making me feel welcome.
Yeah.
And I've mentioned that a few times, and I mean it. One thing I've noticed is you've mentioned your family. One thing I've known you a little bit. I'm assuming family is very important to you. They are your rock.
So for me, family comes first. I've always preached that. Ever since I got hired here, is that when my wife and I first moved here in 2001, my daughter was just barely 5 months old, and so she grew up here. Both my boys were born in Port Townsend in the same room in the hospital. But yeah, family is huge for me. I come from a family where I'm the oldest of 4 kids, and I have a ton of cousins because my mom has 4 siblings. My dad has 4 siblings as well. And so I come from a big family, and we've always preached family first. Raising kids, it's different than when I was raised or when you were raised, because you wear skates sometimes, skid around issues or going from one fire to the next and, kind of put them out. But, family is very important to me, because, that's who we have, most of our lives, most of my high school and college classmates, they moved on. They're not in the area anymore, for one reason or the next. I got friends in California and back east and, down south. And so my family's, my immediate family, my wife and kids are like, what I live for, what I do the job for. Seeing them grow. The cool thing is being able to be a part of Tanner's class, since he was a kindergartner, watching all the kids who will graduate with him this year grow up. It's cool. As a coach, I always preach family first. If you got a family thing going on, I don't care what it is, you're going to go to it. Sports is always kind of on the back burner. As a coach, I never trump parents or their decision to take their kid out of practice for a family function. I do the same thing, as a parent. So yeah, my family's just, they're who I live for, my wife and I just celebrated our 27th anniversary in December, and so we've been, thank you. So we've been, been married a long time, and we've seen a lot of stuff come and go, and we're raising our kids the best way we can, and hopefully, our kids are good humans and respectful and from what I gather from most people who interact with my kids, whether it's college or school here, we're doing a pretty good job.
Ted is an awesome guy.
Thank you.
He is. He really is an awesome person. Okay, we're almost at the end here. This is the fun part. I call it the word association. So I'm going to give you a word or two and just shoot me what comes to your mind. Okay. The first word, it's a running joke. Everyone knows this joke here, how much I don't like pickles. So I'll go with the first one is pickles. What's the first one comes to your mind?
Hamburger.
All right. Football.
Defense.
Okay. Chick flicks.
Love story.
Okay. Politics.
Don't care.
Okay. Action movies.
Pass. I'll go back on that one.
No worries. Community?
Family.
Okay. 2023 seniors.
Awesome.
Okay. Barbecued meat.
Awesome.
Okay. Hard work.
Pays off.
Okay. Family.
Important.
Okay. Anything back with the action movies?
Guns. Shoot 'em up.
All right.
Chuck Norris.
Chuck Norris. Hey, I like that. Chuck Norris is good. Great. Any final thoughts you'd like to leave our listeners with?
Not really. Just want to thank you for the opportunity to do this. I never had been on a podcast before. Never, I always listen to them. I don't, I'm not a part of them, but, this is kind of cool. Just going to be interviews, kind of one-on-one, kind of intimate setting and kind of give you my thoughts on the questions you asked. It's kind of cool.
Thank you so much for being part of the show. I can tell you that Chimacum is really extremely fortunate to have you.
That's cool. Thank you. Thank you.
And that concludes this week's episode of Conversations with Mr. A, featuring Mr. Tony Haddenham. What can I say? I really feel like Chimacum Junior Senior High, we are truly lucky to have such an awesome, dedicated teacher with Mr. Haddenham. He truly cares about his students. He's passionate about his community. What else can you ask for in such an awesome teacher? So thank you, Mr. Haddenham, for doing this episode. We'll have more episodes coming up. Thanks for listening.